So here we have a story from the second Rebbe of Chabad, Mittler Rebbe, that just now we celebrated his birthday and the day that he passed away, which was on Tet Kislev, 54 years after he was born. He passed away at the exact same date. And Yud Kislev was the day that he got released from prison, which that's a whole story in itself, but it was a great happiness. And so here's a story about him. He was a very, very serious person, very, very deep, serious person. There was times when he would pray and he would be totally oblivious to the world. That there was, it says that sometimes the person would clean up his room, would move him from place to place, just move him. He would be totally oblivious to everything because he would be thinking about God. There was one time when he said a Ma'amar Chassidut, he said a Chassidic discourse, 13 hours, nonstop. Just said it. And there were some of the Chassidim that remembered it. Okay, but this is a different story. One day, so he was very, very serious. But he used to have a band. There were Hasidim that learned how to play music, and there were others that learned how to sing. There was a choir, and there were jugglers, and there were even equestrians. Some of them knew how to ride horses and do all sorts of tricks on horses. And once in a while, he would make a circus on, Purim and other holidays where it was permissible to play music, and the Hasidic holidays, especially, Yud Tet Kislev, etc. So everyone would get dressed up, and all the Hasidim. This was in Lubavitch. He moved Chabad to Lubavitch. He was the one that began Lubavitch, and it was in Lubavitch for like 100 years, 102 years. So he began. Okay, so on all the holidays, everybody looked forward to it. There would be one of these circuses, and the Rebbe would always watch it. He would be in his room, he would watch it. Anyway, once it happened in the middle of the week, when there was no holiday and there was no special day whatsoever, as he sent out the order that he wants that today there's going to be a circus. And nobody asked questions, and they all ran, and they all got together, and they got their instruments, and they got the horses out of the stables, and the jugglers got their whole thing together, and the choir started singing, and the band started playing, and the jugglers were juggling, the dancers were dancing, whatever it had to be, and everyone was there, and they were all happy. And then came out the horses. The horses came, and they rode around, and they stood up, and they did whatever the horses do. And everyone was just elated, joy. And suddenly one of the horses tripped over something and threw its rider up into the air. And the rider fell to the ground, and the horse fell on top of him with a tremendous thud, pow, right on top of him. A scream went out from the crowd. Everybody realized whoever the poor person was under was crushed. The opposite of what everybody expected. It was supposed to be a happy time. It was crushed, and they looked at everyone was screaming and yelling, and they looked at the Rebbe, and the Rebbe just motioned that they should continue with the happiness, with the circus, like nothing happened. So everybody saw that the horse fell on this person, and the person was unconscious. And they looked, and they said, "Who was the person?" It was it was the middle the Rebbe's son, not Reb Nachum. It was his son, and the horse fell on top of him. the doctor came out, the two doctors, whatever, and they started working on him. They looked, they tried to hide their shock and their, how do you say, the pessimism. And they were working on him, and everyone was running around. The Rebbe just kept motioning that they just keep the happiness going. So they lifted up the horse, and people started playing again, and they tried to be like with the Rebbe, to ignore the situation. And meanwhile, everyone was watching once in a while at the doctors, and the doctors were looking, and suddenly the young person was over there. He started moving around, and the doctors looked at them. They were very amazed, and then whoever was crushed, this Nachum, he was crushed. He got up. He only had a broken leg. They carried him off, and the Rebbe, like nothing happened. The Rebbe told everybody to keep. So somebody asked the Rebbe, and the next day they came and they said to the Rebbe, I mean, your son was crushed by this horse. Didn't that shock you at all? What can we learn from that? So the Rebbe said, why ask that question? Ask a better question. Ask, why is it that I made this circus in the first place? It wasn't a holiday. It wasn't any special day. Just the day of the week. Why? They said, oh, you're right. That's a good question. Why? I said, well, I'll tell you why. Because I saw that my son was going to have a fatal accident, that the accident was going to end his life. And I thought, what can I do? My prayers didn't help. Nothing I did help. So I thought, listen, the only thing that's going to save the situation is happiness. I have to be happy in the face of disaster. And so I ordered to make a circus, and everybody came and they were all happy. And then when the horse fell on him, it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew that it was going to happen. Something bad was going to happen. And I knew that the only cure for the situation was to be positive and to be happy, not to think about the bad. And that's why I ordered you to be happy, and it worked. And my son got better. And so this can be a lesson to all of us, that when bad things happen, I mean, God forbid not to, rejoice somebody's, something bad happens to somebody, say, oh, this is great, I'm so happy. But to know that inside, the way to repair situations that are broken and to put joy into situations that are tragic is to be happy ourselves, and to think that, how can you be happy? What do you think about? You have to think, first of all, whatever is happening is God's making it happen. And for some reason, this is for the good. And I have to know how to react properly. I have to take it to my heart and understand properly. Of course, there's times of mourning. If God forbid his son would have gotten killed, he wouldn't have been happy anymore. But as long as he could fix the situation up, as he knew that the only way to fix it up is that you have to have an attitude of happiness. And of course, you have to do whatever is necessary to fix a person up. If you see a person with a broken leg, you can't just start dancing around, make the person happy. But being happy and knowing, okay, I'm going to go and help. I'll call the medic. I'll do something. I'll pray for his benefit. But it shouldn't stop. Bad things shouldn't stop us from doing and saying and thinking and feeling good. Have a good day. Have a good Shabbos with Mashiach. Now, see you, God willing, on Sunday at 8:15 in the morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.